Hi guys, my name is Miss Sykes, and today we're going to be continuing our lesson with comprehension. We were reading the story Meet the School Nurse from ReadWorks. Last time we answered the first 4 questions together. Today we're going to be looking at the last 4 questions. We will quickly go over what we've already done before diving back in. So just as a review, the materials you'll need for this lesson are your ears, so you can listen and comprehend with me, a printer if you have not already printed off the article, crayon so you can mark along with me, and a pencil to write some answers. Like I said last time, if you don't have all of those materials, at least follow along with the video and try to answer the questions in your head before I show the answer, okay? Awesome. So there's the link to the story that we're reading, Meet the School Nurse. If you need to print it out or look at it again, go ahead and click on that now. And here's our story. So last time we read the story and we answered the first 4 questions. Remember, we used our colored crayons to find the answer in the story and then mark the answer on the question. If you have the paper in front of you, you can use those crayons to color that answer and those parts of the story. And if you're just following along, then do your best to answer them before I show it. We did question 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we're on to question 5. This is a question that we'll need a pencil for, because for this we'll be writing our answer rather than choosing A, B, or C. Before we answer question 5, we're going to read our story. If you notice, there's certain colors showing in the story from where we found answers last time. With our pencil, we're going to be underlining. All right? So listen to the story one more time, and then we'll answer question 5. Meet the School Nurse by ReadWorks. Some schools have a special helper. That helper is the school nurse. What does the school nurse do? The nurse helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. The nurse might give you an eye test or hearing test. The nurse shows you the right way to wash your hands. The nurse also teaches you about healthy foods. Be sure to thank your school nurse for helping you stay healthy. So question 5 is asking us, who helps you at school if you feel sick or get hurt? Let's look back in our story. We're looking for a person who helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. I'll read until I find the sentence that says those words. Some schools have a special helper. That helper is the school nurse. What does a school nurse do? The nurse helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. Those are the words I'm looking for, aren't I? Feel sick or get hurt. So if we look in that sentence, we can see that the nurse is the person that helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. We're going to go ahead and underline that sentence. So if you have the paper in front of you, take your pencil and underline that sentence now. And then we're going to write that answer to question 5. So who is it that helps you at school if you feel sick or get hurt? The nurse helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. Go ahead and take a minute, pause the video if you need to, and copy that sentence down. Got it? Awesome. Let's look at question 6. What did you learn from Meet the School Nurse? Now, we can have a lot of different answers to this question, right? Because you might have learned something different than I learned. If we look back at the questions we've already answered, those are all things that we learned in the story. I'm going to look for something different that we haven't already used in an answer. But technically speaking, all of the answers we've already found are correct. They're all things that we learned. I'm going to find something that I learned in the story. But you might have found something different. So if you did find something different and you'd rather write that down as your answer, that's fine too. So, what did we learn from Meet the School Nurse? I'm going to look at the parts of the story that we haven't marked yet, the parts that haven't been colored or underlined, because I'd like to see if there's something in one of those sections that might be the best answer for me. Some schools have a special helper. That helper is the school nurse. What does the school nurse do? The nurse helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. The nurse might give you an eye test or a hearing test. The nurse shows you the right way to wash your hands. The nurse also teaches you about healthy foods. Be sure to thank your school nurse for helping you stay healthy. So if I look back, I could say that I learned about how the nurse helps you if you feel sick or get hurt. I learned that the nurse gives you an eye or a hearing test. I learned that the nurse shows you the right way to wash your hands. I learned that the nurse teaches you about healthy foods. And I learned that the nurse helps you stay healthy. But I've already used those answers in different parts of our questions, so I might find something else. So I'm going to look here at the beginning. Some schools have a special helper. That helper is the school nurse. I think I'm going to use that as my answer. I learned that some schools have a special helper called the school nurse. So I'm going to underline that sentence. That helper is the school nurse. If you want to answer something different and you want to use a different part of the story, then you're going to underline that section because it only makes sense to underline the part that we're using. Go ahead and take a minute to underline the sentence you're going to use to answer question 6. Got it? Awesome. So for question 6, my answer is going to be that I learned that the school nurse is a helper. Your answer might be different. But if you chose the same answer as I did, take a minute to make sure that you have the sentence copied down correctly. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video until you have it all copied. Got it? Awesome. So for questions 7 and 8, we're going to make them more as an individual practice. Now I'm going to walk you through how you can answer questions 7 and 8 here on our individual practice page, and then we'll go through how well we understood the story and things you might be able to use to help you. So question 7, the first part of our individual practice, is asking you to explain to someone at home how a school nurse is helpful to everybody in school. I'll read that one more time. Explain to someone at home how a school nurse is helpful to everyone in school. So I want you to find somebody at home. It could be your mom or your dad, a brother, a sister, a grandparent, and explain to them how the school nurse is helpful to everybody. If you've ever visited the school nurse, maybe you could tell about that experience. If you've never visited the school nurse, then you could draw on your knowledge of the story we just read to explain how a nurse can be helpful. Once you've done that, you'll answer question 8. Question 8 says, draw a school nurse helping someone. So this part is just kind of fun. You get to draw a picture. You can use any materials you have available. So if you have a pencil and paper, use a pencil and paper. If you still have your crayons from this activity, you can use your crayons. If you have markers, you can use those as well. Whatever your parent or guardian says is the most appropriate tool to use for coloring, that's what you should use. But I want you to draw a school nurse helping somebody. Now, in this picture, you should use lots of details. You can look back in the story to find those details. You could even pick one section of the story and draw that as your picture. So you could draw a picture of the nurse giving an eye or a hearing test. Or you could draw a picture of the nurse teaching you about healthy foods. You don't have to draw everything in the story to show a nurse being helpful. After you've drawn that picture, I want to encourage you to try to use labels in that picture as well. Remember, labels are words that we write next to each picture to show what we're talking about. That way, if you're not there to explain it, somebody can still figure out what's going on. With your labels, I want you to also look back in the story to make sure that all the words are spelled correctly. So if you're writing the words school nurse, you could look right here in the title, school nurse. Or if you're writing the word helper, that's in the story as well. Okay? So whatever you decide to draw a picture of, as long as it's the school nurse helping somebody in some way, draw it, color neatly, and label as best you can. All right, friends, so let's rate our understanding of this lesson. We have our 5-star system, and with those 5 stars, we can have anywhere from 1 star up to 5. If you feel like you have got this, you comprehended the whole story, and you were able to answer every question before I showed the answers, then you might be over here at 5 stars. If that's the case, rock on, superstar. You can probably start reading some stories by yourself and answering those questions without any help from the teacher. If you're somewhere in the 3 to 4 star range, maybe you needed help answering a few of the questions, but you got some of them on your own, then you are right on track and right where we need you to be. You can continue to watch these videos and learn how to become a better comprehender of your stories, and you can practice reading by yourself and retelling those stories to somebody at home to help you become a better reader. If you're somewhere in the 1 to 2 star range, maybe we didn't quite get it or we needed help answering most of the questions, then I would encourage you to watch these 2 videos again and look to see what other videos are being posted that have to do with comprehension. You could even ask a grown-up or a brother and sister at home to help you read a story and have them ask you questions about it so that you can become better at answering those questions and understanding what you read. It's important that we're able to understand what we read because as adults, we need to be able to read something and then be able to do whatever it is asking us to do. So if we don't understand it, that would be pretty hard. Awesome job today, friends. You guys worked really super hard on this. I know comprehension can be a tough thing to figure out, but you guys are doing amazing. Let's keep up the good work, rock on my superstars, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!